Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and we are here today for my blind reaction to episode 2 of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Sorry if I might seem a little out of it. I just got done doing some lawn mowing, and it is like 85 degrees out there, so I'm out of it, to put it simply. I waited at least a little bit, so I was less of a sweaty mess recording this, but hey. Um, just wanted to let you know if I seem a little out of it, that's why. Now it has been 3.5 weeks since we've gone to an episode of this, and this series is not one of those on my entire like occasional show things. You know how like I have my shows sorted out and everything. Well, there's usually a show or two nowadays, especially One Piece, that's the big one, that is usually an occasional series. I don't get to it all the time. It's something I get to occasionally, something I get to periodically. Um, I get to it basically whenever I can. And the reason with One Piece is because I do multiple episodes at a time recently. With something like with Last Man season 2, which we recently finished, it was because of the length of the episodes and the heaviness of the series. Um, and with this isn't one of those. This isn't a periodic, occasional, whatever word you want to use, series. And the reason it took so long to get to another episode is one, because there was the TrotCon break and everything that definitely messed things up, and two, it's just, if you remember, I was not a huge fan of the first episode. Like I watched the web series that on YouTube for this, that was, just basically like little 5-6 minute shorts that did all of this kind of crazy shit. It started off nice and happy, but then like devolved basically. And it was a great concept, but the problem is making that work for a 22-minute episodes every week for a series. The formatting is so different that it just doesn't feel like it works, and that was my biggest issue. It felt like it was way too stretched thin, because the concept, it doesn't need that long. Even if this were like a half length thing, like an 11-minute series, that would work out well. That would be fine, because that's still almost doubling what the shorts on YouTube were. But with this, it's like 22 minutes is just too long for this kind of thing. At least based on the first episode. There was too much. And it started to get boring. And the shock factor was also lost. The shock factor was one of the biggest pluses of the series. It was one of the biggest positives that the show had. But the shock factor starts to get lost when you're like doing it multiple times throughout the entirety of the episode. The last episode was about jobs, and it's like the shock factor, it's like it comes really quickly, and then it's just there. And yeah, it gets a little more intense at the end, but it feels so much weaker than in the YouTube shorts, because it has too much time to breathe. That sounds weird to say, but for a concept like this, it does not need that much time. One way to fix that would be to wait a lot longer in the episode to have the big reveal, but then you would have the problem of most of the episode just being really fucking boring. It's really this issue that I don't know if it can be fixed. And I said last time we would give it one more episode. And that's what we're doing here today. We're going to give this one more chance to see if maybe it was just that episode. To see if maybe another episode can do better. But this series isn't very long, so we can't give it too many episodes. We can't give it too many chances. Like, let me see exactly. Because I think it's like less than 10 episodes long. And it's like, we can't give, we just can't give it too much time here. Because, like, at that point, if you, like, give it too much time, at that point, it's like you're just watching the series. Is it like, really that, like, big of a thing? Yeah, there's 6 episodes. There are 6 episodes in the season. It's like, it would have been better if there were 12, like, shorter episodes. Like, 11-minute episodes. Maybe the channel that this aired on in the UK, which is where it did initially air and everything, because it is a British series. Maybe they wouldn't, like, they don't do that there? I don't know, maybe that's more of an American thing, I don't know. But it's like the first episode, it just did not work for me. We'll give it a chance here. We'll judge this episode based on its own merits and everything. But if it's as, like, if it's as bad or not, or even worse than the first one, then we're definitely going to be dropping that. If we do drop this, I will say we will go back to Vox Machina. We'll do season 2 of Vox Machina, so you don't have to worry about another poll. That, as I had said before, it's like that would already be coming next anyway. So, yeah. If this episode does happen to be better, though, if this episode does start to get it right, we'll give it probably one more chance to actually, like, you know, really perform well. Like, the halfway point is the most I would give it, though. It would have to actually impress me by that point for me to want to continue watching through the second half. Or at least specifically reacting to it. Because I've made it clear before, it's like reacting to a series and just watching it on my own time are two very different experiences. And I could watch a series on my own and love it, but hate it if I were reacting to it. Because there's so much more I have to actively do while recording a reaction than if I'm just sitting here watching it on my own time. It leads to a very different feeling, a lot of different ways I interact and react to things. So, yeah. I feel like I have to just clarify that if I end up dropping this, I might actually watch it on my own time. With me, who knows? I might give it that chance on my own time if I do drop it just from reacting, because it's like, maybe it's just not good for reactions. I don't know. But we're going to check out this episode. I don't know what the episode's title, theme, etc. is around. But I guess we'll see. In the meantime, we're just going to get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Good news! Vox Machina is returning. Yeah, this was bad. Um, for an episode about death, for a series based on the YouTube shorts and everything that these are, this was so just insanely boring. Just absolutely incredibly boring. I did not care. In fact, this was worse than the first one. The first one was at least somewhat it had somewhat of an entertainment value to it. Even if there was a lot of it that was also boring, even if it just didn't work in the format. This episode proves that it doesn't work in the format. This does not work as a 22-minute an episode series. They have to stretch everything out so drastically far that it's just not fun. It's not entertaining. There's nothing to it. There wasn't even a good shock factor in this one, unlike the other one. The only shocking thing was the ending where one of the birds died. Don't even technically know which one it was. Like, that was the only actual shocking thing. Everything else was so unbelievably boring. I just didn't care about anything that was happening. There was nothing that made me care. Nothing about the story was interesting at all. Nothing about the characters was interesting. The jokes were completely unfunny. It's like, the only positive thing I could probably say is that one of the songs, I think it was the first one that they sang, was catchy. But that's it. And it was only the one song. The other two songs, there were like 2 or 3 other songs. I don't even know. I lost track. But the other songs were not good. This was so unbelievably boring. Like, most of the reaction you will probably have noticed, I wasn't saying anything because I had nothing to say. I had nothing to comment on. It wasn't giving me anything to react to. I'm just like sitting there like bored like this, just like wondering. It's like, honestly, for most of the episode, I was just wondering, when is it going to be over? Because it's just like, I just did not care. And nothing it did made me care. I was talking in the pre-thoughts about how it might just be like, maybe this just isn't good for reactions. But no, I think this is just not good. I don't think it's just a reaction versus watching on my own time kind of thing. I just don't think this is good. And it's because of the format. I bet you anything, if this was an 11-minute episode, it would have been drastically better. If this was the normal, like, 5-6 minutes, it would have been so much better. Instead, what we got was just boring, uninteresting, and lacking any kind of fun and enjoyment that the shorts had. And I still love the shorts. The shorts are fantastic. And I don't know if it's just because of the longer run time, or if it's also because of maybe like whoever, like whatever studio or whatever helped them like bring this to TV. I don't know if there was like interference there, and they like it doesn't seem like there would be though, because it still has like all the blood and gore and stuff and insanity in regards to the things that happen, but it's just like overall it's like it feels so watered down in a weird way. It's so much lesser than the shorts in terms of quality that it's insane. These 5 to 6 minute independent shorts on YouTube were able to get across this all so much better. They were able to handle the feeling and ideas and jokes so much better. I don't even really have anything to say about the story or anything because, again, it didn't really give me anything to say. The bird dies, annoys the casket. Yellow guy digs him up because he's lonely. And they try to make a new friend, this pink blob thing that ends up just being there and being nice, I guess. But yellow guy doesn't like that. What am I supposed to talk about there? What does that give me to discuss? I went into this hoping to like this, expecting to like this, because again, I like the shorts. And when the first episode disappointed me, it's like I'm thinking like, okay, maybe it was just the episode. Maybe my expectations were too high and this episode didn't live up to that. But after seeing episode 2 now, it's pretty clear that no, this just doesn't work in this format. It's like, it's good as 5 to 6 minutes, but in terms of 22, it's like there's just too much time for this concept to make sense. You don't have enough time to really do anything. Or rather, you have too much time to do a simple, like, kind of plot like this. See, I'm getting all, like, mixed up and everything, too. It's like, because it's just so... I'm trying to extend these afterthoughts. I'm trying to, like, say something here, but it's like, and it's just ending up confusing me now. The point is, I'm not enjoying this, like, at all. Which really sucks really badly, because again, I wanted to like this. I like the shorts still. I've seen the shorts many, many times too, so it's like, it's not just like, oh, I saw them once and liked them but never watched them again. No, I've seen them many times. The shorts are so good, and it just makes me so sad that this isn't. Either way, yeah, we're going to be returning to Vox Machina instead. That's going to start up. It's probably not going to be able to start up until after we come back from the donation reward appreciation week next week. So we're not going to be able to get to it right away, most likely. But we will be getting back to that. And hopefully that's just a much more enjoyable experience. Though, with how season 1 went with that, it should be. Because I loved season 1 of that. Either way, I apologize if you're really into this series. If you are, that's completely fine. And again, I'm not trying to like discredit the work that the creators and everyone who worked on this put into it. Not at all. There's a lot of work that goes into this series for sure, and I very much respect that. But I'm still allowed to not like a series. I can respect the work that's put into it without liking it still. And I just didn't like this. It's just my opinion. It's just my thoughts. I don't think it works for a 22-minute format. I think the concepts are great. The concept of focusing on jobs in the first episode and then on death in this one, those are great and could work excellently. The problem is there's just too much time to fill out, and because of that, a lot of it feels like, well, filler. A lot of it feels like boring filler. And the stuff that feels like it's like on track and everything, it's just not well handled because, again, it's too stretched out, in my opinion. So yeah, I apologize if you really like this series and we're really excited to see me continue reacting. It's just, it's clearly not for me. I guess that's the best way of putting it. It's not going to be for me. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for voting on this. I apologize that it is being dropped and everything, but again, I'm not enjoying it at all, and I don't want to do reactions when I'm not enjoying the series, because as I've said in the past, it causes me just a lot of stress on top of just, it makes me resent the series and angry at it, and it'll hurt not just these reactions but other reactions too, just from my general mood. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to you guys or to myself, to the channel. I don't want to do that. But again, if you like this, that's great. I am very, very happy about that. I'm very happy, very excited when people love stuff that I don't, because it means that it has an audience, and that's great for the creators. That's amazing for them. And I want them to have their audience, even if it's not going to be me. I would love it to be me, but if it's not, I would love them to still have their audience otherwise. Because all creators deserve that. But do tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? Did you like it a lot more than I did? Or were you more on my level and just found it extremely boring and uninteresting? Let me know down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.